Dear soul, today, the angels asked me to deliver a truth that pulses in the field of the invisible, but has touched someone's heart so intensely that it was impossible to contain the tears. That person, the one who lives in your deepest thoughts, dreamt of you. But this was no ordinary dream. It was a meeting of souls in a plane where truth cannot be hidden, where what is guarded is revealed without masks, where what is felt explodes in waves of sincerity. In that dream you appeared as a healing presence, one that calms, that touches lightly, but with an inexplicable force. That person woke up with a racing heart, wet eyes, and an impossible-to-ignore feeling. Fear. Fear of losing you. Fear of not being part of your life anymore. Fear of having taken too long to tell you what they feel. The angels saw this moment. They were there accompanying every detail, every emotion, every tear that silently rolled down. What happened in that dream was a message from the spiritual plane for that person to stop running from what is real. The feelings they hold for you are deeper than they themselves can admit. For a long time, they tried to rationalize what they felt, put it in boxes, label it as friendship, affection, nostalgia. But the truth is that all of that was just an attempt to run away from the force of love that was growing silently. The dream came as a cry from the soul, an alert from the heart, a proof that it's no longer possible to pretend. Before continuing the message, write this mantra in the comments. My presence is unforgettable and my absence teaches. Now continuing the message. Crying upon waking was not weakness, it was a liberation. That tear was a reflection of everything. That person had held in, swallowed, silenced out of fear, pride, or insecurity. It was in that moment that they understood how much you matter, how much your presence has a healing effect, and how much your absence echoes like an emptiness that nothing can fill. The angels show that, even though that person is distant now, they feel you every day. In automatic gestures, in songs that suddenly play, in memories that surface out of nowhere, in dreams that seem more real than reality itself. There is a longing that they hide even from themselves, an emptiness that they try to fill with distractions, but that returns with force in moments of silence. They try to live as if everything is okay, as if they have already moved on or moved forward. But deep down, what they feel is longing for what you two were, what you could have been, and what in their heart still exists. A bond that has not broken. The angels show this bond as a golden thread that connects two hearts, even at a distance, even without words, even in silence. The fear of losing you has grown. That person has begun to realize that you are different, stronger, more serene, more distant as well. They feel that you no longer depend on them like before, and that scares them. Because deep down, they hope that you would be there always, waiting for a sign. But now, feeling that you are moving forward, that you are valuing yourself, something within them has gone on alert. The angels say that this fear is the awakening of consciousness. It is their soul understanding that time may be running out, that the chance to be by your side may not last forever. This perception has caused an emotional whirlwind. That person is in conflict. They want to get closer but fear your reaction. They fear that you no longer feel the same, that you have moved on, that you no longer want to make room for them. And that's where fear turns into paralysis. But the angels are acting, gently touching their heart, pushing them delicately towards the truth. That truth that for a long time has been beating at the bottom of their chest. They love you. The angels want you to know that nothing has been in vain, neither the silence nor the distance, nor the absence of answers. Everything is serving as a mirror for this person to see what they've denied for so long. And in this moment, they're facing the biggest truth. The love they feel for you hasn't passed, hasn't diminished, hasn't faded away. It simply fell asleep under the weight of circumstances. That's why this dream happened. Because the spiritual plane knows when the soul needs a nudge. The tears upon waking were the overflow of what they can no longer contain. The fear of losing you is real, intense, and it's driving the internal transformation that the angels are guiding. And you, how do you feel knowing this? Have you noticed that certain coincidences in your life aren't mere coincidences? This message reached you at the right time, but you need to act quickly. Stay open-hearted but firm in your worth. The angels ask you not to back down, not to beg for attention, because the true healing is happening now, on the other side. What you did was enough. Your presence, your energy, your light, all of this was absorbed by this person so deeply that even in absence you're still present. There's something even deeper happening. In the coming days, this person will be touched by signs, messages, memories that will lead them to make an important decision. The angels are setting the stage. All you need to do is keep your vibration high and not get lost in doubts. Your role is to trust. Life is about to surprise you. Dear soul, prepare yourself for what will be revealed now. The angels show me that since that dream, something began to change silently within this person. It's as if a new energy had settled in their heart, stirring memories, emotions that were asleep, pushing them towards an inevitable reflection. Am I losing the love of my life and only realizing now? This question echoes like a constant whisper in their thoughts, bringing an intense mix of nostalgia and urgency. Even if externally this person continues with the same routine, the same commitments and responsibilities, something within them is crumbling. It's as if each small memory of yours, a look, a laugh, an old message, gained a new weight, deeper, more symbolic. And all of this manifests in moments of loneliness when they catch themselves staring at the void, trying to understand why this absence weighs so much now. The angels clearly show their heart is trying to free itself from the armor they wore for so long. There's a truth that needs to be said. This person tried to move on. They tried to fill the space you left with other distractions, other connections, other faces, but nothing fit. Nothing brought the same lightness, the same sense of belonging, the same peace they felt by your side. And that's what hurts so much now. The angels say they're going through a kind of emotional mourning, not for something that formally ended, but for something they let slip through their fingers due to pride, fear, or indecision. Now, before we continue this message, write in the comments 222, I trust in the time of love and I call for the truth of the heart to call. If this message is resonating with you, dear soul, and in some way is touching parts you didn't know still hurt, breathe deeply. Because the angels asked me to remind you of something very important. You were not an illusion. You were truth. You were presence, sincere affection, real commitment. And that's exactly what's missing now. Because love that doesn't pretend, doesn't replace. This person's fear of losing you has grown in recent days. This fear is no longer just a suspicion. It's a feeling installed, constant, that takes away sleep and squeezes the chest. They feel that you're moving away energetically, and that causes panic. Now she understands what she once ignored. You were present not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually, with all your heart. And it was precisely this heart that she didn't know how to welcome as she should have. Angels show her scenes of memories that have come back to her strongly, simple moments but full of meaning. A shared coffee, a silly conversation, at the end of the day a look that said more than words could translate. These memory fragments have repeated like mental movies, and every time that happens, her chest tightens. She now understands that there was love in those moments, and that this love was not just any love. It was a rare, welcoming, serene love. There is also a spiritual issue going on. Angels reveal that this connection between you two is not superficial or temporary. There is an energetic bond between your souls that remains active even in silence. This person feels when you think of her, feels when you are more distant, feels when you are stronger. And this bothers her, because the strength you found reminds her of the fragility she hides. At this moment, she is at a crossroads. She can continue to ignore the signs and pretend that everything is fine, or she can face the pain that comes from the loss of true love. Angels are doing everything for her to choose the path of truth. They are guiding her, sending dreams, signs, casual encounters, messages in songs or in random conversations with other people. All of this is a divine attempt to awaken her to what can still be saved. Dear soul, angels also ask that you take care of your energy at this moment, because when someone's soul begins to awaken to lost love, it emits very intense vibrations, and this can affect you emotionally. You may feel more tired, feelings of nostalgia without apparent reason, dreams with this person, or even an inexplicable desire to cry. This happens because there is a strong energetic bond between you two. But don't worry. Angels are protecting and sealing your peace. If this message reached you today, it was not by chance. It carries a call to your inner wisdom. You don't have to do anything for this person to come back. You don't have to send a message. You don't have to force signs. The truth is taking care of touching where words don't reach. Trust. If this message resonated with you, feel invited to support this channel through the Worth It button. This gesture helps to continue bringing inspiring and enlightening messages to all who need to hear what the heart asks in silence. And if you believe that other people are also going through something similar, share your experience in the comments. Your story can be a breath of hope for someone. Dear soul, the presence of angels at this moment is even stronger. They show me that what this person feels for you goes beyond nostalgia and regret. There is a deep conflict within her that is transforming. Something very important is about to happen, and you need to be prepared for it, because what is coming now can change everything. After the dream, after the cry, after the fear of losing you, this person entered a state of search. And this search has been silent, but intense. She tries to find explanations for what she is feeling. She rummages through the past in search of answers. She remembers dialogues, good moments, even conflicts, and tries to understand where everything began to be lost. Angels show me that in recent nights, she has thought a lot about you before going to sleep. And it's not just a fleeting thought. It's a kind of silent plea, as if deep down, she asked you not to forget her completely. The pride that prevented her from acting before is weakening. More and more, this person realizes that it's no use keeping a cold or indifferent posture. She tried to pretend she didn't care. She tried to smile in photos to show that she was fine. But the truth is, this mask is getting tiring. The emptiness is becoming too heavy. The angels say she's starting to feel a true impulse to get closer. She still doesn't know how, still fears her reaction, but the desire is growing stronger. And that's where you come in with wisdom. You don't need to chase after her. You don't need to insist on being remembered. Your role now is to stand firm in your worth. The angels say the love you offered was enough to plant a seed. And that seed is now germinating in the silence of her heart. Amidst the uncertainties, there is one certainty forming within her. The feeling hasn't ended. Before continuing the message, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to subscribe. This helps us continue creating meaningful content for you. Continuing the message, something you may not know is that she started to feel jealous. Even without knowing details of your current life, she imagines you're moving on. And this possibility scares her. The angels show me that she's imagined you being happy with someone else, smiling as you once smiled with her, and this scene is unbearable for her. It's at this point that the fear of losing you turns into real pain. And this discomfort has been the catalyst for an emotional awakening. She feels she's lost control of the situation. She feels time is passing too quickly, and that there may not be room in your heart for her anymore. This thought is accelerating a decision. The decision to let go of pride, to face fear and perhaps seek reconnection, even if it's timid, even if it's with few words. But the angels assure something is approaching. Dear soul, it's important that you know there is resistance within her. Yes, because this person carries old wounds, emotional traumas that made her believe loving is risky. She learned to defend herself from affection, to retreat when she starts to feel too much. But what you both lived broke that armor, and even though she tried to rebuild it, every memory of you is like a crack that reappears. And now, there's no more hiding. The feeling has overflowed. The angels reveal that in the coming days you may feel a stronger presence. It could be through dreams, recurring thoughts, synchronicities, or even messages or signs that seem like coincidence. But they won't be. They are confirmations of the spiritual plan that she is indeed being touched by the truth. And that truth is simple. She's afraid of losing you because she loves you. And she's starting to understand that this love can no longer be silenced. You may be wondering, but if she feels all this, why doesn't she speak? Why doesn't she appear? The angels say her time is still organizing itself. She's facing herself now. And this is a silent, necessary battle. She needs to go through this to be able to seek you with truth, with maturity, with awareness. You deserve this. and she's being guided towards this new state of consciousness. In the meantime, take care of yourself, strengthen your energy, honor the love you gave, but don't forget to prioritize yourself, because your glow, your light, your strength are exactly what's pulling her back to reality. She feels this, and she feels it deeply. Dear soul, remember, you're not alone in this process. The angels are taking care of every detail. They're preparing both hearts for something bigger, something more aligned with what you both truly need. Trust in this time. Trust in this preparation. And above all, trust in the love you gave, because this love is having more effect than you imagine. Before we end this part of the message, here's a special sign. The angels are sending you a special sign. Your lucky number for today is 7. Write in the comments, I receive the energy of the angels. My lucky number is 7 and I am blessed. I send love and protection to the person I like and love so much. If this message touched your heart, show your support with a thanks heaps and help spread this message of light to other people who need it. Dear soul, the angels show me that at this moment, something subtle but very deep is being moved in the energetic field between you and this person. It's no longer just about the dream, the tears, or the fear. Now this person is going through an intense emotional review process, and the angels ask you to understand the importance of this, because it is precisely this review that can lead her to an authentic transformation. This person is feeling the weight of everything that was not said. The kept words, the interrupted gestures, the delayed encounters. There is a silence between you that on the outside may seem like peace, but on the inside, it is a battlefield of unspoken feelings, of emotions that accumulate like unsent letters. And now, this silence is beginning to bother her in an almost physical way. Her heart beats differently when she remembers you. It's as if each beat said, "You're still here." The angels reveal that this person has wondered what would happen if you forgave her, even if she never asked directly. Even if she didn't have the courage to apologize, the truth is that regret is planted. And the idea that maybe, just maybe, you still have room for her, makes her cling to a hope that grows in secret. This hope does not come from certainties, but from the strength of what was lived. She feels that something was left unfinished, that there is a cycle between you that still pulses. And no matter how much time has passed, no matter how life has gone on, inside her there is a feeling that you still have something to live. And it is this feeling that the angels are feeding with signs, intuitions, and synchronicities. The angels also show me that, at the same time that this person desires an approach, she fears judgment. She is afraid that you don't want to hear any more, that you have already healed, that you are in another phase where she no longer fits. And that's why there's hesitation. There are mental attempts to give up. She thinks, better not touch this. But then, something makes her come back. To your name, to your image, to the memories that resist. At this point, the angels bring a very clear message for you. Don't carry the weight of forgiveness alone. Forgiveness is a bridge that needs to be built by both. And even though this person is going through this internal movement, it's important that you look inside and realize, is there something in me that also needs to be released? Is there any pain that I am still holding, even in silence? The angels say that forgiveness at this moment is the strongest link between you, even if it is not verbalized, even if it doesn't come in a direct request. The simple act of you, in your intimacy, releasing resentment and wishing peace for this person already begins to untie the energetic knots that keep you stagnant. Write in the comments a list of people, including yourself, that you would like to forgive. Visualize each one of them. Send love and say, I forgive you and release you. May peace be with you. Feel the lightness and freedom that forgiveness brings. Repeat this practice every day to strengthen your inner peace and release anxiety. The angels show that this person also needs to forgive herself. And that has been the biggest challenge. Because it's not just about recognizing mistakes. It's about accepting that she failed with someone who only offered love. And that's harder than it seems. But little by little, she is understanding that the path to healing passes through humility, through the ability to say, I didn't know how to love you the right way. Dear soul, this silent recognition is the first step towards a new stage. But it is a stage that needs your serenity. You don't need to make external movements. Your work now is energetic, it's emotional, it's spiritual. The way you deal with all of this, the way you choose to care for your heart, will be the key that allows or not for this connection to be remade in a healthy way. This person may not appear with a perfect speech. They may come with doubts, fragilities, with words that still don't reach the full depth of what they feel. But the angels guarantee if they come, they will come with truth. And it's up to you to feel if this truth still makes sense in your life. Meanwhile, keep evolving. Keep taking care of your energy, your self-love, your relationships. Don't pause your life waiting for something. Live authentically. And if it's meant for this person to come back, they will find you more whole, stronger, more aware. And that will make all the difference. The angels ask you to trust. Trust in the sacred time of maturation. Trust that true love finds ways to return, and that even if you don't resume the relationship as before, something will still be healed between you. Because nothing of what was lived with truth is lost. Everything is learning. Everything is evolution. Everything is preparation for what is to come. Dear soul, as we advance in this message, the angels ask for inner silence. Not the silence of absence, but the one that prepares the heart to listen deeply. The message that arrives now speaks of intentions. It speaks of what this person is finally beginning to plan, and all of this has to do with you. After days immersed in silent reflections, this person began to understand that it's no longer enough to feel. It's not enough to dream, imagine, remember. Something within them yearns for action. It's as if the heart is pushing the mind to break the blockage that always prevented it from expressing itself. The angels show clearly there is a movement happening as an internal plan is forming. They are beginning to structure thoughts about how to reconnect with you. This is not just an emotional impulse. This time, there is a genuine desire to do things differently, to not repeat the same mistakes. This person is being guided to look at you not as an idealized someone, but as someone real, with feelings that deserve to be respected, with limits that need to be understood. And this, dear soul, is a sign that they are maturing internally. In recent days, they have been trying to imagine scenarios. What would your reaction be if you received a message from me? And if I showed up unexpectedly, would I be welcome? These questions come loaded with anxiety, but also with hope. There is the desire, yes, but there is also fear. And this fear cares not about you, it's about themselves, about the fear of not being up to the love they received. The angels say that it was this fear that for so long paralyzed them. Now something curious has happened. This person is more sensitive to signs. A song on the radio that seems to speak about the two of you. An old photo that suddenly appears. A conversation with a friend that brings up your name. All of this, previously ignored, now has weight, has meaning. And the most important thing, they are listening. They are paying attention. The angels are whispering more clearly, and for the first time in a long time, their heart is really listening. There is also a change in the way they look at themselves. This person began to realize that running away from their own feelings was, in fact, running away from themselves. And in this confrontation, they saw that their presence had a much bigger role than they imagined. You were a mirror. You were security. You were acceptance. And losing that made them lose themselves a little too. The angels reveal that there is a real possibility of communication in the coming weeks. It could be a shy gesture, a brief message, an apology, or even an indirect attempt to reconnect. Even if it's not in the way you imagined, it will be the best that this person can do with the heart they carry now. Because this heart is trying, even with fear, to find its way back. You don't need to prepare for this reunion as if you're protecting yourself from a storm. The angels ask you to simply align with your truth, to welcome what comes without fantastical expectations, but with the awareness that you have the power to choose. Not out of pride, but out of wisdom. You've grown. You've healed parts that you didn't even know were wounded. And this growth will be your shield. If in the past you gave too much, now is the time to give with balance. If before you stayed silent to keep the connection, now you speak your truth with serenity. This new version of you, Chas, more centered, more awake, is exactly the energy that this person is feeling from the other side, and it's this energy that's pushing them to take action. Dear soul, trust in what the angels are building behind the scenes. Not everything is visible to the eyes, but the invisible is acting with precision. This person is being spiritually accompanied so that they do what needs to be done. And even if it takes time, the most important thing is already happening. Awareness. They are feeling, they are seeing, and above all, they are being touched by a love that never left. The truth is that they cried not only out of longing, but out of recognizing that they lost you even before you left. They cried because they realized that in all the places they went, no one was like you. They cried because they felt your absence in places where you've never been, and this kind of absence screams. This absence has a name, and the name is yours. Dear soul, may this message come as a comfort to your heart. The angels ask you, stay strong. Continue to take care of yourself, to expand your light, because your healing inspires, your strength transforms. And if this person is to return, let them return to an encounter between two whole souls, no longer between needs that seek each other out, but between truths that recognize each other. Dear soul, we have now reached a delicate and extremely significant point in this revelation. The angels are showing me that there is a more intense energy movement involving this person, as if a new phase is beginning within them, a phase where they can no longer ignore what they feel, and much less pretend that everything is under control. Control, in fact, is something they are beginning to lose, but for the first time it doesn't scare them. It liberates them. What was once an internal dilemma has now become a constant restlessness. This person is being led with firmness and gentleness by their own feelings, and it's as if everything that was confused is beginning to organize itself inside, not because the external world has changed, but because they've begun to accept that they can no longer fight what they feel for you. The angels show that every memory they tried to erase has now returned with more clarity. The sound of your voice in their memory, the details of your expression, the way you looked, everything has returned as a strong and uncontainable wave. And the most surprising thing, this person is beginning to realize that you were not just a chapter. You were the story. You were in some way the turning point in the way they saw love, presence, commitment, the relationships they had after you, or even the people they tried to distract themselves with, always seemed incomplete, as if something was missing that only you offered. True connection, serenity, trust without demands. But something even deeper is happening. The angels reveal that this person has begun to feel the impact of your absence as a type of longing that doesn't pass. And it's not just longing for moments. It's longing for the version of them that only existed by your side, that light, spontaneous, caring, that version that you made bloom with your presence. This realization has truly impacted her daily life. She feels she's changing from within. She's more sensitive, more reflective. She's cried silent tears some nights. She's caught herself stopping everything just to remember you. And this type of memory isn't a distraction, it's a calling. It's the soul asking for return, trying to find its way back to what once brought peace. The angels say that now this person is beginning to understand that losing you wasn't just letting you go. It was losing a rare opportunity to live something genuine. And so, the desire for reunion strengthens. Something is forming within her, a growing impulse day by day, almost like courage being born. Courage to say what she never had the strength to say. Courage to face her own vulnerability. But there's still a detail that needs to be said. This person fears she's no longer the same for you. She fears that upon trying to return, she'll find a heart that no longer desires her. This has created insecurity, and the angels ask you to understand, this isn't an excuse. It's a wound. It's the weight of someone who took too long to realize, and now fears it's too late. At this moment, the angels ask something important of you. Don't cultivate anxiety. You don't need to predict what's coming. You just need to keep your energy clean, high, available for your own peace. Because everything you need to know is already happening on the subtle plane. The changes within this person aren't small. They're profound, they're real, and they're being guided by forces greater than you or she could control. Share this video with two loved ones who need this message of hope and faith. Let's together build a chain of love and mutual support. Leave a comment with a prayer for your guardian angel. While this person reorganizes their feelings within, you must focus on continuing your growth process. Take care of your self-esteem. Reinforce your boundaries. Value everything you've learned from this story. Because this knowledge is yours, and no one can take it away. Regardless of any reconciliation, you've already come out transformed from all this, more aware, stronger, more whole. And if this person returns, may they find you at your best. And if they don't return, may you continue to know that you loved enough not to abandon yourself waiting for someone. Love, when it's true, transforms. And this transformation is happening, even if you can't see it with your eyes, even if the silence seems definitive. The angels say it's not the end. It's just the moment when everything is being reordered. They're working behind the spiritual scenes, sewing loose ends, healing wounds you didn't even know existed. Their time isn't ours, but it's necessary. And when the right moment comes, everything that's ready will find its place, whether it's in the form of a reunion or as total liberation and peace. But what matters is that the love you offered hasn't been lost. It's in motion, it's awakening, and it's silently honoring you within the heart of this person. Dear soul, the angels continue by your side, sustaining your strength, protecting your light, and preparing you for what's to come. You are more loved than you imagine, more respected than it appears, and much more essential than this person had the courage to tell you. Dear soul, at this moment of the message, the angels are deeply connected with your energy. They show me that you're about to cross a very important emotional threshold. The connection between you and this person has reached an invisible turning point to the eyes, but absolutely sensitive to the heart. What I'm going to reveal next may change everything, because now the feeling this person has for you is ceasing to be just a feeling and becoming an internal necessity for action, for expression, for closeness. This person has begun to open up to something they've always resisted: vulnerability. They're allowing themselves to feel without the filter of reason, without the rigidity of old beliefs that always told them showing emotions is weakness. It's no longer possible to hide. What they feel for you doesn't fit anymore in silences, in disguised smiles or justified absences. Now, everything has become stronger, clearer, more urgent. The angels show that within them, a very old part is being healed. Something related to past relationships, poorly digested rejections, traumas that made them disbelieve in love as a safe haven. And that's exactly what you represent to them now: shelter. Even from a distance, you continue to be that symbolic place where they felt they could simply exist without having to pretend, without having to mold themselves. They remember in detail your care, your way of looking and listening, the way you knew when they were wrong even without them saying a word. And this memory, which used to bring comfort, now brings unease, because they realize how much they lost when they moved away, how much you were the balance between the outside world and what they carried inside, and the lack of that is screaming louder every day. Dear soul, there is a weight that this person has silently carried. It's a mix of guilt and frustration. Guilt for not having reciprocated as they should have. Frustration for not having had the emotional maturity to recognize back then what was so valuable. Now, every new attempt to distract themselves turns into a mirror. And in all the reflections they see you, the angels ask that you receive this revelation with wisdom. This person is trying to gather strength to come out of the place where they hid. They wish to approach, but they don't know where to start. And in this point, silence may seem like resistance, but it's fear. Fear of not being able to tell you clearly everything they feel. Fear of not being received as before. Fear that you, now stronger and more centered, no longer have space for them. But that's not all. There's something even deeper happening. They've begun to wonder if you still think about them. This question visits them every day, sometimes with hope, other times with sadness, and this doubt is serving as a mirror for them to realize everything you've already wondered once. Now they're feeling on their skin what you felt in silence. The angels show that this process is maturing a seed within them, a sincere desire to change, not only to win you back, but to become someone capable of loving truly. Because they understood that you don't want empty promises. You want presence, truth, connection. and that's what they want to offer now. At this moment, the angels ask you to breathe deeply and trust. Even if communication hasn't happened yet, the preparation is underway. Each thought this person has about you is building, brick by brick, the bridge that will guide them to you. If that's also the choice of your heart, and it's important to remember, the power of choice is in your hands now, because true love doesn't beg. It invites itself with respect. Dear soul, there's nothing more powerful than the love that awakens someone to themselves. And that's what you did. You awakened the best in this person, touched layers that no one had touched before. And that's why they can't live anymore as if you had been just another one, because you weren't and you never will be. The angels show that the next days will bring very clear signs, a repeated name, a recurring number, a strong feeling that something is about to happen. Pay attention. All of this is the spiritual plan telling you, prepare yourself. The reunion may be closer than you imagine. Dear soul, now that we've reached the last part of this message, the angels ask that you welcome each word with serenity. What's being revealed here isn't just about the other person, it's about you too, about everything that's been lived, felt, overcome, silenced. This part isn't just a conclusion, it's a consecration, a symbolic closing of a cycle of pain, doubts and waiting, and the birth of a new reality, that of awakened consciousness about what true love is. The angels show me that deep down, this person knows they're no longer in control of your time, that you've changed, that something in you has matured irreversibly. And it's exactly this change that's left them restless, because they realized clearly that they lost control over the situation. But more than that, they lost the privilege of being embraced by a pure, whole, constant love. And now, all they wish for is a new chance, but a chance different from the one they once thought they'd have. Now it's not about going back to the past, it's about starting from scratch, with humility, with consciousness, with presence. The angels show that this person has reflected on how, for so long, they projected their fears onto you. They expected you to prove time and again that you were worth sticking around for. They expected you to hold firm while they got lost in their own fears. But now, they understand that the one who needs to make that move is them. Dear soul, there's no more room for half measures. What's forming here is a true possibility, but only if it's based on reciprocity. The angels say that if this person returns, they won't come with excuses or half words. They'll come with clear intent. They'll come with a thirst for truth, and if that happens, it's because something deep has changed, and because you allowed that change to happen instead of trying to force it. You might be wondering, but what? If they don't come back? What if all this is just a feeling? The angels respond clearly. Everything you felt up until now was real. It wasn't imagination. True spiritual connections don't need logic nor material proof. They reveal themselves in the body, in the heart, in signs, in dreams, in intuitions. And what you felt is the exact reflection of what that person also felt, even if they took a while to accept it. The love you lived was authentic, and the angels ask you not to forget that. It existed, it still exists, but now it needs to be respected in its new form, whether as reconnection, as learning, as a silent love that transformed you forever. Your healing is the greatest gift that this story could offer you, and you're receiving that gift now in this moment, as you understand that the most important person in this message is you. You were the open heart. You were the constant presence. You were the bond that held firm even when everything seemed uncertain. You were love without impositions. And that, dear soul, is rare, it's sacred. And that's why the angels are with you. They're surrounding you with protection, with welcoming, and above all, with answers. Answers that might not come in the form you imagined, but that have already begun to appear through your strength, your peace, your clarity. In the spiritual background, the angels continue to take care of everything. If this person is being guided back to you, it's because the lesson has been learned. And if not, it's because something even more aligned is being prepared. Trust. Your role isn't to wait, but to live. It's not to watch for external signs, but to listen to yourself more deeply. Because within you lives the most important answer. You deserve to be chosen fully. You don't need to prove your worth to anyone. True love doesn't demand justifications nor rushed promises. It's silent, consistent, and natural. And what this story revealed in the end is that you're capable of loving deeply, that you're capable of rebuilding yourself without losing tenderness, that even wounded you chose to continue with an open heart. And that, dear soul, is the greatest act of courage one can have. If this person dreamt of you and cried upon waking, it's because they felt your absence in a way that words can't reach. If they're afraid of losing you, it's because they've realized you're irreplaceable. But if they come looking for you, let it be of their own volition. Let it be with presence. Let it be because the heart, finally, has conquered fear. If this message resonates with you and your situation, write in the comments, "I surrender." Trust and receive what is true for me. Share your experiences in the comments. If you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.